but I'll keep it down low. I'll talk very melancholy the whole entire... Yeah, guys, video games.
It's a good different angle for us.
Yeah. Could be old man video game. And old man video game.
Back in my day, it was just bleeps and bloops. Hey everyone, you are listening to episode 8 of the recurring Bosscast Split Kick's fortnightly podcast. I'm Jett from SplitKick.com. With me is Jason from Inside Gaming Daily and Slick Gaming. How are you doing?
Hey. Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Excellent.
Also with us is Matt from Biff Bam Pop.
What's going on?
Not much. Just chilling like a villain. Before we get started, on behalf of Jason and Matt and myself, we wanted to thank you, the listener, for listening to the show.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah.
Go, listener.
I don't know about you guys, but when we are recording this show, I get very lost in our own little universe of us just talking about games and stuff, and
Likewise.
often forget that actually people are listening to the show. And apparently, based on some numbers from Jim, quite a few of you are listening to the show. So, thanks. Greatly appreciated.
Yes. Awesome. Keep it up.
Yeah, keep it up.
Yeah, keep listening. Tell your friends. The show is pretty awesome. Or at least we think it is.
It's definitely attributed to the fact that I removed anything but 5 stars from iTunes.
Awesome.
So
Yes.
we're getting positive reviews.
So, of course, keep listening, and if you'd like to join in on the conversation, you could always reach us at bosscast@splitkick.com. Alright, so let's get the show on the road. Jason, you are now back in Indiana, correct?
Yes, I am in the cold reaches of Indiana once again.
What's going on with you?
Nothing really. Just kind of, we're in that sort of fallout of vacation mode where everything is kind of blah. So I'm back to work and looking for apartments. I was looking for apartments today, actually right before I did this. Apartment search, then dinner, and then podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's headache inducing. So
I hear you.
I'm not sure if it's probably a combination of both, looking at the computer screen for hours and then just dealing with the general absurdity of apartment hunting. So if I'm quiet, it's probably because I have a little bit of a headache.
It can get very droning to look at apartment postings, and all of a sudden the language just kind of all bleeds together, and at a certain point you're only looking at pictures.
Yes, and everyone seems to say the same good things and the same bad things about every place you could possibly look at.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just drawn the conclusion that no matter where I go, it's going to be a bad management system or something like that. So I'm just going to get over that fact and play it by ear when I get there.
All right.
Make your own review, so to say.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else?
I wanted to enlighten some people here at the show listening to us, all those faithful listeners, because my brother told me about something that I hadn't known about. He sent me this link about a convention called California Extreme. Have either of you guys heard about that?
Yes. Only because the Giant Bombcast talks about it every year. But it's a classic arcade thing, right?
Yeah. It's like,
Okay.
I'm sorry, Matt, have you heard of it too? Or no?
Just sort of the bare minimum of it, yeah. I knew it was a classic arcade thing.
Yeah, see, I had no idea. And it's like you said, classic arcade games. And I guess maybe vendors and exhibitors bring their own games for like everyone to play, something along those lines. But the idea is that when you go, a whole bunch of arcade games are set up for free play and pinball games too. And you can just sort of play games and enjoy arcadedom.
It's like your kid dream, like walking into an arcade and everything's free.
And everything's free. And it's like, a whole bunch of games. And that sounds pretty cool. And I mean, it seems like it's not a huge grand spectacle. It's probably, a bit on the smaller end, but major plus is it's literally going to be in or around the city that I am moving to.
Awesome.
So
Nice.
I will be there. And like, as long as I move on time, Laura and I are getting tickets and we're going to go.
That's awesome.
So that'll be pretty cool. So I'm excited for that. And I think, just Google California Extreme, it should pop up. There's some really cool pictures people have posted too. If you've ever been into arcade gaming, it's pretty cool to see all the cabinets everyone's bringing.
I am excited for you.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things they talk about on the Giant Bombcast is it seems like every year one of those guys goes, they end up buying an arcade machine. Do you have any plans on buying an arcade cabinet?
Yes, but maybe not at this convention. Just I really do like I think one of the ultimate goals of any game collector is to eventually say I have that cabinet, and I don't know what I would. I don't think I'd buy one there just because I wouldn't have room for it. I'm sure Laura wouldn't want it, but in the future I do want to own one, and it's interesting. Like when you think about an arcade cabinet, you really have to think about what you're going to play for the rest of your life. And I mean, like a game like Street Fighter would be really great because it's competitive, but I don't know. Like I don't know what I would buy yet, so I have to determine that first.
It is a big commitment, that's for sure.
Huge commitment.
Is, and it takes up so much space. Like I'm almost inclined to buy some sort of like arcade emulator so I can not commit so much and have a whole bunch of games going at once. So we'll see. What about you guys? Do you ever dream of buying a cabinet?
I've always wanted the 6-person X-Men cabinet.
Oh god.
Yes.
That would be
so
insane.
Awesome.
Yeah, super expensive, but that is one of the pinnacles, I would say. Because that's definitely one that I thought about buying if I had a choice.
I don't think I would, even if I had $1 million. Well, maybe if I had $1 million at this point, I would consider it. But the thing is so bulky, and the game, in hindsight, probably doesn't hold up that great. I did purchase it on Xbox Live and beat it in 30 minutes and was it's done. But I guess if I had 5 other friends here with me to play through it, then maybe it becomes worth it at that point. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
see, like that cabinet, that 6-person one is so hard to find though. Like I would say, like buying it in and of itself would be the treat. Maybe not even just owning the game. Yeah. Because it's so hard to come by. Matt, do you have a game you would buy?
I don't know, man. When I was young, I was big on like the Simpsons arcade game. So maybe I'd do that. The game where Marge was swinging the vacuum cleaner around and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that.
I think. Oh, sorry.
No, that's it. That's basically where I was going.
I think if I had to say right now what I would buy, I would probably lean towards one of those Pac-Man / Galaga machines.
Yeah, something nice and old school.
Yeah, they're old school. It's classic. You could play for 30 minutes one day and not play for a few weeks, then go back and still have fun with it. So
Are you talking about like the table ones?
It doesn't matter to me which one. I think there's one that's Ms. Pac-Man and Galaga. Like I like Ms. Pac-Man more, so I guess I prefer that if it exists. But no, I think I'd rather have the stand-up over the table.
Because I saw an old table one on eBay or Craigslist or something down here. Yeah, and it was pretty cool. It'd be neat to have as like a coffee table in your living room or something.
Exactly. Yeah. If I bought it, that's what it would be purposed for. It would be
nice.
That would be pretty awesome. Speaking of Craigslist, when I was still at school, someone in the area around where I was going was selling a Tekken 3 machine for $99.
Whoa!
I know, and I was like, oh my god, like I need to buy this machine. Like this is my calling. This is why I'm here. But like without even having to call home, I just reasoned like there's no way I can get by with buying this machine. So, but that would have been amazing. And it was missing like it wasn't an original cabinet, and it was missing like the marquee was damaged or something like that. But still, I mean, it was a working Tekken 3, and that's a great game.
Yeah. That would be pretty rad. But you also have to think about the logistics of, all right, I paid $100 to own this machine. Now, how do I get it out of this guy's house and into mine?
Exactly. And at the time, I have this little tiny old car, so I need to borrow a truck, and then not to mention get it back home, and then now apparently fly it to California. So
yeah,
I think I made the right choice. Yeah.
Maybe I'd get.
So what's going on with all you guys?
I don't know. So, okay, I'm just going to step in here and go first.
Absolutely.
Sorry. So, a couple of things going on. Last podcast, I was talking about joining a floor hockey league. Mm-hmm. I joined it because it was a co-ed thing, sort of, like I play ice hockey pretty competitively and all that kind of stuff. So I joined the floor hockey league to kind of take a break. It's co-ed and supposed to be a little less competitive, a little more recreational, a little more fun. So we get to the floor hockey arena, and it's our first game. We're all kind of just getting there, shorts and running shoes kind of thing. And the other team comes out, and they're all wearing hoodies and whatnot. They take off their hoodies, and they're all wearing these like league championship T-shirts.
Oh man!
So it's like I felt like
pressure is on.
Yeah. So they all come out, and they're all doing these stretches and stuff, and we're just kind of standing around going, no, well, whatever. It's supposed to be recreational, so it won't be, it shouldn't be that bad. We started playing, and I think they beat us like 17-3.
Oh my goodness!
It was terrible. I mean, we're all pretty good, but it's a combination of, I don't know if you guys have ever played like floor hockey with the plastic sticks and whatnot, but it's so hard to shoot with them because they just bend like noodles, and you can't. I don't know. It was good. It was fun, but yeah, just super competitive. Way more competitive than I thought it was going to be, and yeah. So we'll see. We had a game last week that was a little bit better, but we'll see if we play the world champions again at some point, and might get beat pretty bad. So we'll see how that goes.
Isn't Liza playing with you as well?
She is, yeah. She's actually pretty good. She's I say that like it's a surprise. She's pretty good. She plays defense.
Okay.
So she was going to play goalie, and then that was quickly erased when they realized that they were using an orange ball and people were actually taking like full on slap shots. Oof. So she's like, I go, so do you still want to play goalie? She's like, maybe not.
Understandable.
But,
I don't blame her.
And then, no, I know, right? And the other thing was we didn't, like, on the actual website, the goalie is shown on the website as, not really wearing any thick equipment, just like sort of hockey shin pads and, whatever. And we get there and the other goalie is like fully ice hockey pads and glove and blocker and full helmet and everything, chest protector. And our goalie had like shin pads and hockey socks and a hockey glove on one hand and a baseball glove on the other hand. And yeah, so needless to say, that sort of contributed to our 17-2 loss. But but they certainly didn't take it easy on us either. So yeah, and secondly, Liza's learning how to play the guitar. I know, Jett, we talked about guitar learning and whatnot in a podcast not that long ago. Her dad's a really good guitar player, so I think she's just kind of got it kind of in her blood. So she's been playing for about 7 or 8 days now, and she's making pretty good progress.
Good.
She's learning chords and all that kind of stuff, so she's doing well. I figured I'd bring that up because I know you were talking about it as well.
Good to hear.
Excellent.
I'm still playing Rocksmith every now and then. I try and play that game every couple of days, and I try and pick up the guitar every day and just noodle with it. Yeah. I think I'm making progress. I'm learning some chords and songs, and there are a couple of songs I can play almost in full. So a couple of other ones on top of the ones I'd mentioned before. So, I mean, it's a slow burn, but learning how to play the guitar is a slow burn, so I have no problem with that.
And the guitar is a riff machine anyway. Like, not many songs are learned in full. You learn, oh, this is such a cool part, so you learn that part. And then, like, at a campfire, you bust it out and you play that part. And they're like, do you know the rest of the song? And you go, next song, let's move on.
If I can play a good riff and impress people and make them think that I know how to play the guitar, then I'm good.
That's it.
I can pick it up and just go dun 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 dun, and I'm good. I'm out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Exactly. Yeah, and finally, I'm going to Pittsburgh for a hockey game on Friday, or this coming weekend. And yeah, and because of the lockout, all of their concessions are free, and their merchandise and everything is 50% off. So it should be fun. Free food.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, they give you a choice.
Who are they playing?
The New Jersey Devils. So my buddy is a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, and I'm a big New Jersey Devils fan. So it's going to be a battle the entire time we're there.
By the time people hear
gotta
this...
throw a shout out to the local Blackhawks. Currently 6-0. I don't know if by the time this comes out if they will still be 6-0.
They probably no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
They will probably have played games by then, so they will go one way or the other.
I'm going to correct you, Jett. I think you meant to say they will probably have won games by then.
Oh, okay.
So it'll probably be, 7-8-0.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's my what's going on with me. What's going on with you guys?
Anyone hyped for the Super Bowl? Which, by the time people listen to this, it'll be over.
What a great Super Bowl game. I can't believe that guy did that thing with the ball.
Yeah.
The better team won.
Yeah. And that play that everyone's talking about, it's so crazy.
Oh, and those commercials. So
I know.
cool.
I know. There, I think we covered it. I think we covered all the bases.
Moving on.
Future-proof podcast.
Moving on. In more exciting, I guess, sporting news, Steph and I took my 2 younger cousins to see Monster Jam.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's monster trucks. They have the racing section where the monster trucks drive around the track, and then they have the freestyle section where the monster trucks are doing tricks and jumping off ramps and stuff.
Awesome.
So I brought my 2 little cousins with me. One of them was 6 years old, and the other one I think is 9. And I was not ready for how loud those monster trucks were.
I was just going to ask you that. Did they wear earplugs or anything? Or?
So we got in there, and I'd never been to a monster truck event before. Neither had Steph. And we sit down, and I'm looking around, and a lot of people have ear protection. And I'm thinking, man, maybe this is going to be a little loud, but whatever, we'll wing it. First truck comes out, and I'm almost ready to cry because of how piercing the sound is. And the kids are cringing, and they're plugging their ears, and I'm like, oh crap, these kids might go deaf if I don't do anything right now. So I run out to the concession stand, spend a whole bunch of money on earmuffs and earplugs, and yeah, just throw them on the kids, like, here you go. And I was struggling with the little one in particular, because the earmuffs were very tight, and they were crushing his head, and he was complaining that it hurt. But then the earplugs were a little too big for his ears, and they were constantly popping out. So
yeah,
it was partially that, and then he looked serious a lot of the time. I didn't know if he was in pain, but he was enjoying the show, so he was just trying to fight through it.
Nice.
So I had to take him out a bunch of times and like ask him, "Are you okay? Does this hurt?" And I think eventually we got down a system where his ears were covered most of the time.
Okay.
And by the end of it, the kids were shouting, "Oh my gosh, this was the greatest thing ever! We need to go to this every weekend!" And they really liked it. I also liked it as well. There's just something about watching monster trucks hit ramps and jump 30 feet in the air and then flip out and crash that just gets the testosterone going.
Nice.
I'd like to see. I've never been.
Absolutely worth it. I wish my parents had taken me when I was a kid, but I also didn't really think much of going to monster trucks at the time. Like, I'd see the commercials and go, oh, that'd be cool. But didn't realize how cool it would actually be till I did it.
I just think it's funny that the guy that loves Taylor Swift is the only one of the three of us that's been to a monster truck show.
Right.
I guess the other thing, which kind of transitions into what we've been playing, my coworker Andrew is in the process of learning how to play Street Fighter 4.
Nice.
And I have been very actively involved in trying to help him learn how to play the game. So at work, we'll talk strategy. We have an Xbox 360 in the lunchroom, so at lunchtime we'll talk like concepts and stuff. And online the other night, we were playing in a lobby, and I would drop out of the match and just watch him fight other people, and I would be texting him pro tips as he was fighting. And then other times I'd be like filming it on my phone. And then this morning, I had my phone with me, and we reviewed the tape. And
that's awesome.
We were just watching his matches, and I was pointing out all the little mistakes he was making, and my coworkers around us were totally cracking up at how seriously we were discussing Street Fighter. They kept referring to me as the Mr. Miyagi of Street Fighter.
That's awesome.
So that was pretty funny. Also, the other night, I was playing Street Fighter 4 with some of the Split Kid guys, Ben and former managing editor Adam Bash. So that was fun. And my friend / coworker Mike was also in that room as well. He's trying to learn how to play on a fight stick. So he was a bit sloppy, but he's pretty good. And that was a good time.
And are you giving them all tips too?
I have offered.
Yeah.
Mike is... We've played the game together like hundreds of hours leading up. We got better together, and he's really good. So he doesn't... I don't think he really needs my help at this point. I've offered my help to Ben, and I guess whoever else wants to learn stuff, but we'll see. I do have a guide now that is on splitkick.com, my Kickstart guide to Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, which was doing really well.
Yeah.
It's because it's awesome. It's good.
It is. It's really good.
It was doing really well, and it got a lot of upvotes on Reddit. Thank you guys for that. I hope you enjoy, and maybe I'll write more of those things. We'll see. It's not the only fighting game I have been playing. The latest balance patch, or major patch for Street Fighter X Tekken is out now, and it aims to do some major changes to gameplay systems and characters to make that game work better than how it was before.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that game has a bad reputation in the FGC for the most part, because when it came out, there was the whole on-disc DLC debacle, assorted balance issues, and people just had like problems with how the game worked in general.
Okay.
It was not as tightly put together as it could have been. So, I mean, kudos to Capcom. They've been patching the game throughout 2012 and 2013 is a very big jump. So they've adjusted all sorts of things. I really like the adjustment to throwing. I felt that throwing in Street Fighter X Tekken was really weak. The ranges were really bad and it didn't do much. But now throws take away red life as well. So
Ooh.
If you could be in a situation where you have half of your health bar is just red, and if you don't tag that person in time and someone throws you, all that red health disappears. So that does
it takes all the red.
all of it. So that does it goes a long way towards making the matches faster, which was one of the big problems with Street Fighter X Tekken. People were complaining that there were too many time overs. So by using throws, you can kill someone very quickly. So
now, would it quick aside, would that include like input throws too, or no? Like a throw character?
It wouldn't do like the spinning pile driver, but just a regular throw would take off the red health.
Makes sense. All right.
So I played a couple of hours of that. I don't know if I'm able to say that, yeah, this is so much better than old Street Fighter X Tekken, or if people are just going to flock to this game. Probably not. I think that if you played the base game before and did not like it then, you probably still won't like it now. But if there were people that had very specific complaints about how that game worked, it might be worth at least trying it out. I don't see it surpassing the popularity of Street Fighter 4, but it is taking steps towards becoming its own thing, and I'm glad that Capcom is at least putting in the effort to do it. So I'll probably play a little bit more of that. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. We'll see. But that's the thing I've been playing. I see Matt, or someone is hovering their cursor over Sleeping Dogs, which I've also been playing.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Sorry.
No worries. Did you have any questions about Sleeping Dogs? I know, Matt, you've played a little bit of it.
I love it. It was a great game.
Yeah. I'm digging it really hard, too. I remember reading the reviews and thinking, okay, this game was supposed to suck and it doesn't suck. All right, on to the next one. But I picked it up as part of a Boxing Day event thing, and I'm just getting around to playing it now, and it's so awesome.
Yeah. The combat is what got me. The combat is so awesome in it.
Oh, just like the Batman-style combat with all the crazy environmental kills, and just like shoving people's heads into rotating fans, and all of that type of stuff is great. It doesn't get old.
Payphones and ice machines and all kinds of stuff. It's awesome.
Awesome, and I also like, I think the main story stuff is really great. A lot of the side stuff is good to not so great. It depends on, but you can always ignore that and just play straight through the main quest stuff, and there's a lot for you to do.
Yeah, totally.
I know a lot of people had complained about the shooting in that game. I don't know, Matt, what did you think about, like, gunplay?
I found nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was...
To be completely honest, like, the gunplay was okay, but I spent most of my time punching people anyway, so...
Yep. I much prefer the punching dudes in the face, but shooting was okay.
I didn't find anything wrong with it.
I thought that maybe the slowdown mechanic was kind of weak.
Yeah.
In that it only works when you're jumping over things, but you spend so little time jumping over stuff that it's almost useless.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a perfect place for the stranglehold slow down mechanic where you're diving over things in slow motion, and I would have loved to see that in there, but...
I agree. I think that would have been the icing on the cake.
But otherwise, it's a fun game. I'm mostly done it. I should be done by the time... I don't know, by the time the next episode comes up, I should be done.
Nice.
It's great.
I never actually got around to finishing it, so you have to let me know how you like the ending.
Okay. Will do. What else did I play? I beat Skylanders Giants.
Ooh.
That is a thing. Jason, I know you reviewed that for...
I did, yeah.
Inside Gaming Daily?
Yeah, that's right.
I do not remember if we talked about that on the show or not.
I don't know, but I really like Skylanders Giants.
Yeah? What did you...
What are your... Oh, no, go on.
What did you think about it compared to the first one?
I thought it was largely the same, like, towards the first one, but I think Giants is the better game of the two.
I will agree with you on that.
Okay.
With that said...
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed in the big changes they made with that game.
What big changes? There aren't any.
For one, the Giants themselves.
Okay, yeah, the Giants.
Giants, I I find them very slow, and because of their size and their lack of speed, I actually thought they were a liability to have out there, because I felt they were more prone to getting hit, and their health is about the same as everyone else's, so I find they drop a lot faster, and they're not as useful in combat, so I would only bust out my Tree Rex when there was that icon on the ground that said, use a giant here.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically the same way I played too, and it wasn't. I actually felt that they were comparable, like to other Skylanders. I didn't feel like they were weaker or anything, even though they were bigger. But I felt that they moved so slow. I just didn't want to stomp around on the ground as Tree Rex. Like I'd rather just fly around as Gil Grunt on my water and be fast. So yeah, I never used them. I only used them when I needed to. You need a giant Skylander to reach this zone. But yeah. I thought that something I liked about the Giants is that they could, because they're so massive, like they could just kill enemies by walking on them. Like, so it actually makes you feel like they are like, big and giants. So I did like that. But yeah, they're pretty much just big versions of Skylanders. So
yeah, that was kind of disappointing. And I guess the other thing would be Sky Stones, which is
the game
sort of like a reversey mini game that is mandatory at certain points, but not really in most of the game. That was kind of lame.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it a step further because I thought it was basically a ripoff of Triple Triad and Tetramaster from Final Fantasy 8 and 9, and those sub games are great, and this one is just like not that good. So, but I guess it's targeted for kids, so kids can understand arrows, so that works.
Jett, did you get to that point at the end where you ran out of characters again, or
no?
Yeah, did you get there?
Because I had my old Skylanders characters plus
they're juiced up,
all the new Skylanders characters, and then I got an extra one for Christmas, so I had a total of, I think, 8 characters. I was able to get through that last boss, but I was on the last one. It was the last Skylander against the final boss. I won't spoil it. There's not much to spoil in Skylanders.
Yeah.
It was the final battle, and I took it out with my last Skylander. So
nice.
Did you have like a go-to Skylander that you would use all the time?
I tried to level up the new people. I really liked Cinder, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I never used Cinder. I don't know why. I just didn't like.
That lightning attack just did a lot of damage and had a really large reach and was fast.
Yeah. I'm like super old. I had to rock Gil Grunt the entire way.
Huh.
Like whenever I didn't need to like level anybody up, I'd use him just because like shooting 3 harpoons like across the screen really fast was so effective.
See, I didn't level up that way. I have my Gil Grunt set up so we just had the charge shot. So I didn't have the spready dart harpoon things, so using that single shot just wasn't that great for me. And I tried not to use my old Skylanders as much, so I spent a lot of time with Cinder, a lot of time with Fright Knight, I think is the name of...
Okay, yeah, I don't have that
the
one.
one on the skull ostrich thing.
Right, yeah, that looks kind of weird.
Fright Rider, that's it. Fright Rider, and I thought Jetvac was lame.
Oh, you didn't like Jetvac?
No.
Hawk and Awe? That was so cool. I like Jetvac. I thought
his shooting was too slow, and the vacuum attack, you would suck people in, but if they didn't die, then you would just get hit because they're touching.
Yeah. I never used vacuum. I would only use vacuum to suck in like gold and money or gold and food, and then everyone else got shot.
Everyone gets shot.
But he had such a good little Portal of Power podium entrance. The Hawk and Awe was awesome.
Hawk and Awe, that's the name of the move?
No, he would like whenever you put him on the portal, they say something interesting. It's always the same thing over and over, and his is Hawk and Awe. It's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
And then I remember Gil Grunt is Fear the Fish. They hear that all the time. And Tree Rex is Be Afraid of the Bark. So you can see they're all like puns.
Yeah, and then Fright Riders is Fear the Spear. Which sounds like super lame after you've heard Fear the Fish, like back to back. Just like, oh man, you guys are getting lazy.
At least they all say stuff. They didn't always say stuff in the first game though, so at least they got stuff.
My go-to in clutch situations, I use Dino Rang.
Oh, okay,
I had my Dino Rang leveled up to a point where that move where he throws the 2 boomerangs that circle around him just did crazy damage.
Yeah, instant death. Yeah exactly.
So yeah, Dino Rang is top tier in my books.
Top tier. I gotta go on Google and search for a top tier Skylanders.
Yeah, I wonder if there's got to be some sort of.
I'm looking it up right now. Actually, there's got to be
Skylanders tier list of just who are the best, who are the worst.
Oh man, top tier Skylanders.
Skylander needs to get nerfed for competitive play because there is that battle mode.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I never really played that though. I did the arena mode where you just go through like waves of survival stuff. Mm-hmm. And I actually like that edition. It was fun. But, once it's over, it's over. Yeah. So
I played a little bit of battle mode at Steph's little cousin Josh's house. He has Skylanders Giants for the Wii, and he was playing battle mode with one of his cousins, and I played for a little bit. And it's a one-on-one fighting game with the Skylanders mechanics. So it's you have to knock people out of the arena, so it's kind of like Smash Brothers in a way, but not really. That's not for me.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's still a solid game for people who still want more of the Skylanders experience, but it just doesn't go that far in bringing anything new to the table.
Does it feel tacked on?
Agreed.
I mean, they tried to make updates with the Giants and Sky Zones, but it doesn't really pan out, so everything that's left is just more of the same, even if it's been polished a little bit more.
Yeah, they need to add a jump button, and they need to, I don't know, just do something else to make the new one, because they're going to make another one. It needs to be something different, otherwise they're just getting lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think I did find a tier list.
Who's top tier? I want to know.
Oh, I could agree with this. Top tier, this person lists Stealth Elf.
Okay.
I use Stealth Elf a lot. She's pretty ballin'. I don't know, do you have Stealth Elf or no?
No.
You could take her down this one path where she has this ability to, I'm sorry, Matt, you're like totally out of this conversation.
No, I'm good. I'm just still picturing Jett's apartment just full of Skylander toys.
Yeah. She has this ability where she'll go invisible, and she can leave behind, like, scarecrow versions of herself that all the enemies go towards. Mm-hmm. And then when she pops back up, she can, pop in and attack, but she can also make it so she pops up and all of the scarecrows explode. And, like, you can make it so it's so easy. She just, like, runs away. All the enemies go towards this thing, and then she pops up and they all die. So it's pretty impressive. And she's fast. I like fast characters. Oh, they list Cinder as number 4.
Yeah, I was saying that it's that main attack is so clutch.
Very fast with good directional AoE.
Back to Matt's point, Steph's parents find it really funny when I'm talking to Steph's little cousin about Skylanders, and the last time we were at their place, he has a backpack full of Skylanders. He has almost every single one. And I'm just going through the toys and saying, like, oh man, this one's so awesome. And
yeah.
And we're having serious conversations about Skylanders and their attacks and stuff, and Steph's parents are just watching and probably judging, but that's okay.
It's fun, though. I love it. Man, I like the game.
And one last thing to wrap up what I have been playing, just to meet our Wii U quotient. I picked up Balloon Fight on the Wii U, I guess, Virtual Console, which isn't really a thing, but sort of is with virtual.
It's becoming a thing.
Becoming a thing. It was on sale for 30 cents, so of course I had to pick that up because it's only 30 cents. Why not? And it's Balloon Fight. You can play it on the Wii U gamepad by itself and take Balloon Fight anywhere within 20 feet of your Wii U. So, if you are still interested in playing Balloon Fight, then you'll probably like it.
It has been my dream to play Balloon Fight while I go to the bathroom. So, Nintendo, thank you for making my dream come true.
Haven't they ported that to the Game Boy Advance at some point?
Shh, quiet.
I don't know. The graphics are pretty intense.
Yeah, the Game Boy Advance can't handle that.
No.
It's a Wii U only.
Yeah.
All right, what have you guys been playing? Let's go to Matt, because I know you were at a very big event recently.
I went to see, it was a media-only event for the new Metal Gear, Solid Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. And awesome. It looks really good, plays really well. A few little issues, but just absolutely staggering difficulty, which is sort of, I guess, to be expected from any Metal Gear game. But it looked awesome, played awesome, and it's going to be... I only got about half an hour with it, but very interested to sort of play more and see what's going on.
So my two questions for you, as someone who has not played Metal Gear, any Metal Gear ever. One, is it still stealth-based?
So, the portion of the game that I played was exactly the opposite. It was literally running around and just killing everything. So I don't know if they've, like I said, I've only played about half an hour of it, so I don't know if they've fully strayed away from that sort of mechanic, but I imagine there's still going to be some stealth elements in it. This one was sort of more, I guess, because it was it was a shorter experience. They want to sort of give you the benefit of all the new features and stuff that were in the game, specifically the blade mode, which is probably one of the coolest things I've seen. Literally, you wear down the enemy's energy, and then you can enter blade mode, and you basically, with one of the sticks, I believe it's the right stick, you can change the angle of your slashes. So as many slashes as you can get away before the enemy dies, the enemy will literally fall into that many pieces.
That's so awesome.
And you can use it against like real world objects. So like you can go up to a bridge and like hack at one of the support beams, and the bridge will fall down.
That's
or
cool.
like you can go up, like there at one point there's a plane flying through the air and it's shooting at you, so you jump up into the air, jump off a pillar, and then enter blade mode, and you can literally slice the wings right off the plane.
Cool.
And then the plane just like crashes into the ground. It's fantastic. It's really, really cool. But that being said, it's also extremely hard, as I said. One of the bosses, I think I must have died like 20 times just in the one demo, and the guy in front of me is like, oh, good, it's not just me. So,
go
on.
No, Jason, go ahead.
Going back to the blade mode, like when you slice up a person, are we talking like gratuitous amounts of violence and blood, or what?
yeah, so have you ever seen Resident Evil, where the guy walks into the hallway and then the lasers come on and it goes right through him and then he just falls into sort of pieces?
Yes, terrifying.
That's what I imagined when I first saw the game, and it's sort of like that.
Okay.
Like basically you can, if you hack a guy diagonally, his body just kind of slides off diagonally. So you can be pretty creative with it, I think.
All right.
So my other question, I think that this is developed by Platinum Games, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So I've never played a Metal Gear game before, but I like Platinum Games as a developer in general. Not everything they do is great, but there are some games that I really like Vanquish.
Okay.
Is this, do you think, a game that someone who has not played a Metal Gear game before, but likes action games, would enjoy?
Well, there's kind of... It's difficult to answer that, simply because the controls and getting used to them, there's a pretty hefty learning curve, I think, to Metal Gear Revengeance. I played the tutorial while I was waiting to actually go into the main game room, and the tutorial took you through blade mode, but literally told you nothing about any of the other controls. So I'm like, oh, all right, well, at least, now I've got this blade mode thing, and I'm going out, and I knew how to do nothing, literally. And I was sort of learning on the fly, and I wrote an article for Fan Pop sort of summarizing my event there, or my time there, rather, and one of the key points was that we faced this boss, as I said before, and I died probably 15 times, and did all that before I realized that there was an actual quick button for health potions. So, and I had no idea it was there because it was never explained to us. So it was sort of this big revelation, like, oh my god, we can heal ourselves. This is great. But, it would have been awesome to know, 15 deaths ago, right?
Yeah.
So, the learning curve, I think, is probably going to be pretty steep. But all in all, it looked to me to be a fairly accessible version of Metal Gear, which I don't think the other ones were as accessible as sort of pick up and play. But yeah, I don't know. And it doesn't seem to be as talking heavy either, sort of as narrative driven. It seems to be more centered on action for the whatever part I saw anyway.
Raiden lets the blade do the talking.
Yes, exactly. And it's they call it his high frequency katana. That's what it is,
they can't say lightsaber. So.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so that was my experience with Metal Gear.
Cool. When does that come out again?
February 19th.
All right, so that's coming soon.
Yeah,
around the corner.
Just in time for Valentine's Day, if you have that special someone who wants to use a high frequency katana to slice things in half.
I'll show you
and
my
don't we all?
high-frequency katana.
Oh, there you go.
Anything else you playing there, Matt?
That was kind of it for this week. I've just been I picked up a Ghostbusters game for iOS, kind of a pay to play kind of thing. Got old pretty quickly. Yeah. Other than that, not much.
Okay. And Jason, what you got going on?
I actually almost right after our last podcast we discussed and stuff, I was actually able to get to play Fire Emblem Awakening for review, actually.
Oh.
So I actually beat the game today.
I'm so jealous.
Amazing.
Yeah. It super thankful that I got the chance to do it, and it's good. I don't think I think you'll like it. You won't be disappointed.
Excellent.
So is there anything you wanted to know specifically about the game, or just like a...
No, I mean, talk about what you want to talk about, but for me, I'm going to pick it up when it comes out and play the heck out of it. And
okay,
yeah.
I can let you know a few things. Well, actually, first off, I never played the demo. What was the demo?
The demo was 2 or 3 levels.
Mm-hmm.
I think your character, the avatar dude that you name, and I think they find him in a field or something.
Right.
And then,
okay, that seems like the very, very beginning. Yeah.
So you fight some dudes, and then there's a level after that, and some other dudes show up. There's 3 levels in the demo, I think, now that I think about it. And they seemed very early. One of them was in a forest. The last one was in a forest.
Yeah, you're right. That's right before some major stuff hits the fan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is pretty much how every stage starts. You're walking around, and then some dudes show up. So, yeah, you can look forward to that. But it's a solid, I'd say maybe 15-ish hours. If you're just playing through casual really quick, you can get through it fast. Mm-hmm. But I really liked it. I thought it was a deep enough game to keep me entertained without getting too complex, because I could play it whenever I wanted for however long I wanted. Mm-hmm. And it's good. I think people will enjoy it. And not having played every other Fire Emblem game, I still thought it was easy to follow and fun.
Okay.
It also looks really good. The game itself is fine. It's standard RPG stuff on the 3DS, but the cutscenes are really, really good. And I know in the beginning there is a cutscene. I assume it was in the demo. It's phenomenal. It's some of the best visuals I've seen on 3DS, so that's definitely a perk. But it's fun, and there is going to be DLC, so
wow.
I guess you can look forward to that. And I assume it would be paid DLC.
I believe so.
But yeah, it's pretty good, and I guess I'll have my review out next week, so it should be out. But yeah, it's definitely worth it, so you'll enjoy it.
Did you keep the 3D on, or did you turn the 3D off?
I mostly kept the 3D off, because for the most part, the only time you would ever actually look at it in 3D is when there are the cutscenes.
Right.
Because everything else is just, the character portraits and they're talking, and then the actual gameplay, it's just the map with the squares that you can move to.
Yeah.
And you don't need to see that in 3D, so there's really no point. But the cinemas, you can watch those in 3D. It looks really nice.
Did you play it in baby mode? I mean, the new casual mode where if characters die, they just get incapacitated and you can use them later.
Yes, I did, and I just to get through the game, I did it that way. It's a nice approach. I can see a lot of people choosing that just because it's easy, and a baby mode is a good way to put it, because that's pretty much what it is. But on top of that, you can pick your difficulty and casual or classic mode. That's the one where if they die, they die. Mm-hmm. And if you play it on even just a normal difficulty on classic mode, where if they die, they die, that's challenging. There's so many levels where I was thinking to myself, there's no way you can get out of this with someone not dying. So it's it'll be hard. And it's a staple for every Fire Emblem game that your characters develop relationships as you go forward. Mm-hmm. And I really want to see, I'm going to play through it partway at least again to see what happens when this character's dead. How is this scene going to happen? And oh my gosh, that's a lot of thunder. And I want to see what happens, because it's a neat way to add a lot of replay value to a game that otherwise wouldn't have any. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool. So
yep, I'm super excited, and I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. Does it stack up with the other Fire Emblem games you have played in the past?
Okay, it's definitely better than the other DS one, that remake.
Yes.
Of the first game, because I didn't like that one at all.
That one sucked.
Yeah, and I only have played Fire Emblem, like the Game Boy Advance one, the first one in North America.
Okay.
And I never beat it, but I thought it was better than that just because it looked nicer and it was a lot smoother.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to think which one is my favorite. They're all awesome, except for that.
Yeah, I've heard.
One. I know it's gotten... I mean, there's been minimal updates. I think the GameCube one with Ike might be my favorite one.
That's good. Yeah, like after this one, I really want to look out the rest just to play through them because it was pretty fun. The story wasn't like anything grand, so
No.
yeah, it does, but it doesn't need to be because you're kind of playing it for other reasons. So
You can play those games all out of order because they don't really connect either.
yeah,
So
yeah. But still, totally, really nice, fun game. Should be one of Nintendo's big games before what Luigi's Mansion comes out. So yeah, it's worth it. Moving on from that game, this weekend was my dad's birthday, and my mom surprised him and the rest of us by getting us a cabin at this local national park. So we went there, and we're in the cabin, which has electricity and stuff, so we were camping, but it wasn't, hardcore camping. We had, refrigerators and stuff and TVs. Yeah. So since it was so cold, we couldn't always go outside, so I ended up bringing my Xbox. And I brought some games that I could play with my nephew, and we played Castle Crashers, which is great, but we also dabbled in Sneak King, the old Burger King game.
Ooh.
And I ended up buying it for $1, and I will say it is definitely worth $1. Have you ever played it or no?
It is the Burger King game, correct?
Yeah. There's 3 of them. Yeah. And basically in this one, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. In this one, you basically work as the king and you sneak up to people and give them various items on the Burger King menu, and then they jump for joy. And that's pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, that's about $1 worth, I'd say.
Yeah, that's $1 worth of entertainment. And they add some layers of complexity. Like you can, you have to, if you don't get caught by someone, you get extra points, and you need so many points to unlock other stages, blah, 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 blah. And it's just funny because when you sneak up to someone, you have a really short QuickTime event where if you succeed, you dance in front of the person and give them the food to get more points. And the ridiculousness of it is why it's fun. So
that's awesome.
If you go to GameStop or wherever and it's $1, yeah, buy it. It's worth $1.
Yeah, I've been morbidly curious about trying that game and kind of want to add that to my collection, but I haven't really seen it around. And I know I would be buying it for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. I remember when I bought it, I was just taking it up to the counter and I was like, oh man, they're going to judge me. Like, they're going to say something. But I don't know. If I recall, they didn't say anything. But yeah, it's fun. It's worthwhile. You tell them that Jason said it was good, and then you can, not feel guilty at all.
Nice.
I actually remember a couple of months ago, I was out to lunch. There's a pawn shop close to my work, so I decided, I'll go there, see what games they have. And Sneak King was one of the games they had. And I remember when it first came out, Burger King was selling them for, I think, $5 each.
Yeah, I think so.
And I asked the clerk, how much are these games? Or how much was this one in particular? And he said, all games $20.
Oh my god. Wow.
So
that's atrocious.
I immediately said, thank you, and walked out.
Yeah, I would have laughed. I would have laughed and walked out.
None of those games in his collection were worth $20, especially Sneak King.
Yes. It is not the worst game I've ever played, but it's just, I don't know. It's a Burger King game, What else are you expecting? So.
Plus, it fell into your magical price, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, most definitely. I might have even gotten it for free. I probably did a buy 2, get 1 free thing and saved $1.
Speaking of magical prices, there was a big PlayStation Plus sale, or big sale, and I saw what the prices were on PlayStation Plus and decided, you know what? I'm going to cash in my free PlayStation Plus right now.
Nice.
And cash in on some of those deals. So nice. I got Little Big Planet karting for $10. And
any good? Yeah, did you play it yet, or any good,
no,
or what?
I haven't played yet.
Future episode.
I grabbed that. I grabbed Unfinished Swan for $3.
Ooh.
There's a couple other games I got for super cheap, and then I downloaded all of the free stuff. So I have yet another version of Street Fighter, and I got Mega Man 9 and 10 out of it, and more.
Yeah, I saw that. So, Jett, I have a question for you. Sorry, I don't mean to dirty. So, with the PlayStation Plus membership, when you get the free games that they offer, you only own those games until you no longer are a PlayStation Plus member. Then they take them away from you, correct?
Yes.
Right.
So when you get a game on a deal, so for instance, you get like a $15 or $20 game for $2 or $3, do you own that game regardless of whether or not you get rid of your PlayStation account, or do they end up like charging you the full amount for it afterwards, or do you know how that works?
You keep it.
So for whatever price you paid, it's yours.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
That's why PlayStation Plus is amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty good.
Because, Little Big Planet karting in most places around here is still $60, and I just got it for 10. So
Yeah.
score.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Where you at, Xbox Live? Where you at?
Yeah. I keep telling my coworker that sits beside me, he only has an Xbox, and I keep telling him about all of the crazy deals happening on PlayStation Plus, and he just gets so bitter about it. But,
Yeah. They're so good. I mean, getting Uncharted for Vita for free.
yeah.
If you have never played it, that's a fantastic deal.
If you have PlayStation Plus and a Vita, you pretty much get every good game for free.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, all one of them.
I got Gravity Rush not that long ago. It's
There's
pretty
more
good
than
too.
that.
Oh, okay, all two of them. Okay, Gravity Rush. And, honestly, Gravity Rush and Uncharted would be the two games I'd want to play.
Yeah. Well, Wipeout's pretty fun if you're a Wipeout fan.
Oh, yeah, okay, Wipeout's good.
It looks good on the system.
Persona 4?
Persona 4, yeah, that's good as well.
True.
What else
But
is
Persona
good?
4's been out, so I don't know. Not quite a new game. Not quite up there for me.
But have you played it on the Vita? That's the question.
I have not. And
Nukes.
arguably, it is probably the better version.
That's true. Well, we could always ask the 3 people that have played it on the Vita.
Maybe one of them is a listener. You don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
I know Jim has been playing it on the Vita, and he likes it. So
4
there's
people.
At least one person.
Nice.
All
Well, the
right.
game is good. I imagine the medium that you're playing it on wouldn't have much effect.
Yeah, definitely. Like, even Persona 3, still on the PS2, is amazing.
Yeah.
Balloon
totally.
Fight is still Balloon Fight on the Wii U.
Excellent.
There you go. Case in point.
All right, let's move into the Bosscast topic of the week, which is, this time around, emotional response in video games. So, to kind of set the table of what this topic is, I mean, when video games first became a thing, the feelings that it usually gave you were, I don't know, the feeling of awesomeness from overcoming a particular challenge, lots of power fantasies of shooting out spaceships and playing weird virtual tennis with a square ball and paddles, and it was just the feeling of, yeah, this is awesome. And as the medium has evolved, it has also been, I guess, changing the way we feel, like from a moment-to-moment perspective, and making us feel different things. So, one of the games, I just wanted to start with this particular anecdote. The first game I remember that made me feel something other than that pleasure of living out that power fantasy was Illusion of Gaia on the Super Nintendo. Have
Nice.
you guys played that one at all?
I have.
I have not. It's flown past me.
It is so fantastic. You need to find that game. Oh man,
Yeah, it's an RPG
I don't even
classic.
want to talk about this part now that you haven't played it. Can I spoil it?
No, go on.
Okay.
Go on. No, go on.
So, Illusion of Gaia, it is an action RPG, kind of like The Legend of Zelda. It's got some little wrinkles to it, and it's totally awesome. Pick it up. I picked it up at a bargain bin years and years ago, just because I remember seeing the box on shelves all the time, and it was, I think, $5. I was like, screw it, I'm just going to buy this.
Wow.
And was totally blown away by it. And towards the end of the game, there is a moment where your party is starving, and you're huddled by a fire, and you have a pet pig. And the pet pig
Oh my
makes
god.
the ultimate sacrifice and walks into the fire and cooks
Oh my
itself
God.
so that you guys could eat.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so sad.
We need to cue this like sad, violin music
Yeah.
or something
I
right
remember being so heartbroken that my pet just killed itself so that it could keep us alive.
And I'm imagining this 16-bit pig, and it's so sad.
It just walked into the fire and then flickered
Yeah.
a bit, and then all of a sudden it was a cooked pig. Perfectly cooked.
now. Yeah.
But
Yes. Video game
that
magic.
moment really had an impact on me, and I felt genuinely sad, and it was the first time a game had made me feel different.
Let's also not forget that the pig's name was Hamlet.
Well, is it really?
Yeah.
yeah, it was Hamlet.
Oh no.
So yeah, what was
That's
what
epic.
were some of the first games that made you feel different, or like feel different emotions other than the regular awesomeness?
Sticking along with the RPG train, I felt super sad for the first time playing a game when I played through not Final Fantasy VII, but Final Fantasy IX. In pretty much the very beginning, like you are escaping from, I don't remember what it is anymore, something. And it's essentially what's happening is you're this band of thieves, and you're really close together and whatnot, and you escape this forest as the forest is like turning to stone.
Yes.
And this one guy, I think his name is Blank. I think he basically like throws someone to like save them, and then sacrifices himself so he like turns to stone. And the scene happens through one of the game's cutscenes, so it looks really good.
Yeah.
And the music that plays is just so like fitting, and it's so sad and touching, even though it's the very beginning of the game. And I remember that was one of the first times ever playing an RPG, and I just thought, oh my god, this guy just like killed himself for me. And it was a pretty epic moment. Like I remember that specifically.
And then it scans back and it shows everything all petrified, and it shows like,
exactly. And he's there like throwing his hand out to like, oh man, oh man, I got goosebumps. It's still such a good scene. And that was one of the first. And then I know the first time I ever cried playing a game was Final Fantasy VII when Aeris died. Yeah, that was I didn't see it coming, and neither did she. But it was that was a sad moment. There was tears. Again, fitting music. Maybe the music has something to do with me, but it was very touching.
And then the ball drops down the little stairs.
Yes, exactly.
And then they bury her at sea or whatever, and she's floating under the water. And
and she still has pristine hair somehow.
Yeah.
So
yeah, totally. They didn't have hair, dynamic hair back then in the full motion videos. So
there was either flat hair or spiky hair.
Video game hair is still really hard to render. Like if you watch play a WWE game and see Triple H's hair is just still one solid block.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, games that or game moments that make you feel other things. I'm trying to think of games that made me laugh, and there haven't been that many that I can think of off the top of my head.
I've got one that made me mad, and it wasn't mad because it was like a bad game. Okay. When I was way younger, like way before Final Fantasy was even, on the PlayStation, I remember playing Bubble Bobble on the NES, and if you get to the end of that game and you beat it, you don't beat the game because you need to beat it with two people. And so imagine my fury when I was, 8 and I got to the end of this game and I was like, are you kidding me? Like I just played this game for like hours and it was mocking me. I think it even says something like you can't truly save your princess unless there's two of you, something along those lines. And even as a kid, I'm like, BS, like, come on. And I was so mad. I was so mad at that.
College shenanigans.
Yeah. I never did beat that game with two people, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever.
One of the games that I think, and it's not when I was younger, I think it was actually fairly recently. And I think it was sad simply for the fact that I didn't even really see it coming or expect it, but I don't know if you guys have played, spoilers obviously, to the end of Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
And at the end where the whole town sort of gangs up and they call you out and then they all proceed to basically fill you with bullets. And the sound, like the music that's playing is really sad, and then you see him kind of on his knees, and then he drops over, and then the story carries on like with his son and all that kind of stuff. That I think it was sad because I didn't see it coming, but also because you spent so much time playing with the character, like of John Marston or whatever. And I guess because I didn't see it coming, it was pretty sad. But I remember that sticking with me for a while too.
Yeah, definitely a good one. That kind of touches on another point if we want to switch subjects a little bit. You said your investment, Matt, in the character. Mm-hmm. Like, do you guys feel that if you invest more time in someone, you elicit a greater emotion when something happens to them?
Well, do we need to bring up Walking Dead?
Yeah, I mean, that's the elephant in the room right now.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, obviously, if anybody has played The Walking Dead knows that you spend a lot of time with the lead character, and you spend a lot of time building and creating all these relationships and crafting all these meaningful sort of bonds. And then the game, obviously spoilers again, sort of winds up, in not a very good place. So, yeah, I mean, I think you look back at even all the old RPGs and stuff like that, and you spend sometimes upwards of 20, 25, 30, 40 hours with these characters, and then plot twists or whatnot have these characters either dying or going away or whatever. And I think you build a real emotional attachment and like a real emotional attachment in real life, and you feel really bad when bad things happen.
Yeah, and I don't even think it needs to be always death. Like even just like some change. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to bring back up Final Fantasy. But in Final Fantasy IV, which is 2 on the SNES, like when you lose Kain as one of your players because he goes to like the dark side, basically. Oh man, like he's my friend, and now he's this enemy. And this role reversal, it's it hits you, and it's good storytelling. And I think that's something that definitely is key to any good RPG. But yeah, it definitely makes you feel feelings aside from the power that Jett was talking about.
I'm going to counterpoint you guys, and I'm going to throw out Gears of War here. Yes. You spend a lot of time playing as Marcus, and you are alongside Dom, and after that first game, they try really hard to make you feel differently about the characters, and I don't think it works at all in either game, especially in spoilers, Gears of War 2, when you finally get to Maria and Maria dies. Yeah. And it's really trying to make you feel sad and empathize for Dom, but it's just done in a way where you just don't feel anything. It just feels like really cheesy and not good. And I kind of feel like a lot of games are if they try to go for pulling the heartstrings, they don't do that great of a job of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you're absolutely right. And I think it's because a game like Gears of War really has no business trying to pull your heartstrings, as you say. Like, that is not what the game is about. So when I am playing the game, I care about his wife, but I just want to kill some people. And, when I'm playing a Final Fantasy or a different RPG or even The Walking Dead, I care about those people more than I care about, like, what I'm doing. And I think that's definitely the issue. At least that's what I see the issue being between those two types of games.
Yeah, I guess it kind of comes down to, the next point on this list of game design versus emotional response. And it feels like a lot of the emotion comes from the writing and not so much the gameplay mechanics themselves.
Absolutely.
Because I think a lot of games are basically Avatar X does something to Avatar Y, and Avatar Y, I don't know, it disappears or is manipulated in some way, shape, or form. And because of that, it's very easy to create an action game or something violent rather than, I don't know, something more constructive or something that stimulates other types of emotions other than that joy of breaking stuff or being a badass. Mm-hmm. So, it really comes down to the writing, which I think is slowly starting to get better. There's examples like a Heavy Rain and Walking Dead, which are making steps in that direction, but a lot of games are still just very much design first and we'll tack a story on top of it later.
That's true. And I think that for sakes of this conversation, like, I feel like if it's done that way, it's never gonna make you feel those emotions that the developers might not think about putting in until later. Like, you need to have that in mind from the beginning. I typed this so I didn't forget, but I do have kind of almost a counterpoint to the game design versus emotional response, like you're saying. I feel like the setup in Fire Emblem, which I just got through playing, is kind of a counter to that, because the game design itself is set up so if you play with the options, the characters die, that they can die whenever. And so you might not ever realize the connection between this mother and daughter that are two of the characters you can play as if they die. And so a game like this, where you actually have the option of playing through the game and seeing everything, and playing through the game and seeing what could have happened or what couldn't have happened, it does kind of make you feel a bit more emotional response, and that is part of the game design. So it's almost as if Nintendo and whoever else helped make the games or make games like this have that idea in mind that we're gonna like fiddle with your emotional strings and see how you play the game. So I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
Well, I counter your... No, I don't have any other counters for that.
No, it's okay. Rebuttals everywhere.
The counter cast.
Mm-hmm. One of the inspirations for this particular topic came from the Rocket Jump. I was listening to their Game of the Year stuff, and Jim was harping on a particular point about The Walking Dead where I wouldn't necessarily say he was criticizing it, but he was definitely harping on the fact that that game made you feel pretty crappy all the way through. And he kind of flagged that as, I don't know if I would say a negative thing, but it was not a feeling that he liked, per se. And for me, I know it made me feel sad, but I really liked the fact that it made me feel sad, because I like it when games make me feel things and draw different emotional responses from me, because I feel like the majority of stuff I play is the same emotional response over and over again. So I like it when a game makes me mad or sad or laugh out loud.
It's true. And I mean, that being said, I think the emotional response that game triggers is very much a product of sort of the environment that the game takes place in, right? I mean, it doesn't exactly lend itself to a very happy-go-lucky attitude, when the world's ending and you're trying to bring a young girl through it and keep her safe, right? So, I don't know. I mean, I guess it would make you feel how you would really feel in a situation like that, which is always sort of apprehensive and always questioning whether or not you're doing the right thing and so on and so forth, right?
One of the emotions that I think games have not been doing so great of late, or doing much of, fear. For a lot of people, the first Resident Evil game was the first time a game ever made them scared. I'll never forget, spoilers, the dog's jumping through the window.
Yes.
Yep.
But there's been a dramatic shift in that genre where most of the games aren't really scary anymore, and even Resident Evil 6 is, for the most part, a full-blown action game. Mm-hmm. There were some moments in Zombie U that really freaked me out. I don't want to spoil those because that's still too fresh. But, yeah, that game scared me quite a bit. Do you think that at a certain point we're going to get... There'll be some sort of renaissance of survival horror, or just games that make you feel scared?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that will come back. Like with any genre, maybe it gets flooded, or there's just everything's been done with that current tech, and there's nothing else to really see that would be new. And maybe that's what's going on now with survival horror, in the original terms of actually being frightening. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I see it coming back, because I think me and you, both you guys, everyone, we want to see it come back. So there's definitely a market for that.
Yeah, I think the last major game that people found scary was Slender.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And the premise of that is so easy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I know they're making a sequel to Amnesia Dark Descent.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I think it's Amnesia, a Machine for Pigs. And
it is, yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to that. I know Amnesia Dark Descent was terrifying, so should be good.
Leave it to the indie developers to
exactly.
stick survival horror where it needs to be.
What?
Man, I cannot play survival horror games. I get too afraid. That's why, I mean, I want them to come back, but I will not be one that jumps on the bandwagon and buys them off the bat, because I am afraid of those games.
I get pretty scared too, so... I mean, I couldn't finish the first Dead Space because it was too scary.
Yeah, well, the second one cooled off a bit,
okay.
And then I don't know what the third one's going to be like. But...
I have Dead Space 2 in my backlog, and I think I'm going to play that one after Sleeping Dogs. So
yeah, it's not as scary as the first.
I think that's where I'm gonna play. What I'm gonna play next. I'll read the Wikipedia page on what happens at the end of the first game or something. But I don't think
I think they may explain it a bit at the beginning of the second. I can't remember. Yeah, read the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I'll do that. I know Dead Space 3 is either coming out very soon or is out by the time people hear this, so I will try and catch up. So, I mean, we've talked about the emotion of fear. One of the things that I've always found kind of weird is, I guess, the theme of love and romance. I don't know if this still counts as emotional response, but the themes of love and romance are some of the most common in books, in television, and film. Haven't really made their way into video games at all.
Yeah, not well, at least.
I mean, there are the Japanese dating sims, but for cultural reasons, those do not work over here. There's the Mass Effect series, and people have mixed opinions on how those work. I mean, do you guys enjoy the romance system in the Mass Effect games?
I mean, I think it's a nice choice because for a game that centers itself around trying to be somewhat realistic, to say that there is no room for love and romance in the future is kind of silly. So I think it needs to be there, but almost with every sort of game where you as the avatar can interact with someone and create a relationship, I feel like it's kind of superficial. Like I never feel like I am in love with this person, which I know is a stretch because it's a video game. Yeah. But yeah, maybe it's hard I'm sure it is hard for game developers to actually make someone feel real love and attachment to someone beyond just, basic interactions.
There are those stories that I'll see on a site like Kotaku about guys getting married to their dating sim cyber girlfriend thing, and I don't know, maybe it has been done, but just for cultural reasons, it's not come over here. I would be curious to try, not so much that I'm looking for a digital girlfriend or anything, but just to kind of see what that experience is like. Yeah. I would like to see a romance novel turned into a video game of some sort. This is where I keep bringing back the idea of the Notebook video game. Someone's got to do it. I don't know. I think that it could work.
No, I think you're definitely onto something. I mean, if you're looking to create a game that really captures the essence of love, I think that copying and emulating, a movie or a book or whatever that actually does that is not a bad idea. It could really inspire someone to make something along those lines. Like, I know you mentioned before, Jett, the Notebook being sort of similar to The Walking Dead in gameplay or Heavy Rain. And I think that could work. And I think it could work in the way that it actually could make you feel love in relationships or something like that. It might actually be something that we could see. I don't know if I'd play it, but it could be there.
For academic purposes, I would totally play it.
Yeah, totally.
Yes,
For academic
likewise.
purposes, I would play almost anything. What other things do we have on this list? I guess the whole stigma about games being either for kids or for 20-something gamers who just want to shoot dudes and stuff, and their impact on how games make you feel. I don't know where I'm exactly going with this, but I know a couple of weeks ago, Apple shut down a game that was where the subject matter was dealing with heavy political issues, and I don't know, just there was an opportunity there to make people think and feel certain ways, and they kind of shut it down because they don't feel that video games are the right medium for that.
Sort of a Big Brother move.
I don't know, I have mixed feelings on that. They're kind of stifling the message. Like, I totally feel that games should be open to other types of concepts and not just about, like, being a game and having fun. And they could be a lot of different things, but I wouldn't want to say, make it all free and then anyone can make anything they want. And, well, I guess there is that already on the internet. There's Flash games doing all sorts of stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know. I just find it weird that in that environment they shut that down.
Yeah, it is kind of a weird case of censorship.
I know that all of the major hardware manufacturers, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, will not publish or not allow any game on their system that has an AO rating on it.
Right. What
is that necessarily fair?
I don't. I mean, I guess it's not really fair looking at what you could make as art or what, the game creator is trying to go across, but I see why the companies do it, because you don't want to, if you look at a video game system as, the most generic of terms, I would say it's a toy or like a DVD player, like some sort of entertainment box. And I mean, they're meant to be used by the family. And when you introduce these like super offensive and adults only titles to things that children will have, I think it kind of corrupts the image. And yeah, I think it's the same reason why you never see like porn movies in movie theaters, like all the time. Like maybe there's like a special theater just for them. So, I think it's along those same lines where it's just keeping the game system decent, and it's a nice place to play games and entertain yourself, where you don't have to worry about these crazy, ridiculous games.
Yeah.
But granted, I think the game should be made. Like, if they want to be made, they shouldn't just be made because they are adults only. Like, yeah, they should be released. Maybe released under, like, how in DVD movie stores they have, like, the Playboy DVDs behind, like, special things. You can't see them. Maybe make them like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something to get them out there if they need to be in that high of demand.
I guess the last thing Microsoft wants to see is the CNN headlines of, like, are your kids playing the sex box?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They set themselves up for a bad publicity with that name.
Where do you think storytelling is, or like games and emotional response are going?
I think and I hope that games and emotional response are going towards the side of what The Walking Dead created.
Absolutely.
Because I hope that becomes a monster and is, the way the industry strives to get people to play a game that is a bit more narrative heavy than gameplay. And, it feels so fresh and so fun. Like, I want to see more of that. And even if it is that style of game in the Notebook, like, I want to see it because it's really fun to play.
And that being said as well, we haven't seen anything of The Last of Us yet, or as far as like real gameplay footage and whatnot.
True.
Apparently that is very much the same way sort of Lee protected Clem. These two are the guy is protecting the girl in this game as well, but it's going to be a lot more, I think, action driven and stealthy gunplay and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of stacks up as far as emotional value with games like The Walking Dead.
Maybe the sort of protector and then the weak like sidekick is the way to go, because Lee and Clem, and then in The Last of Us, and if they ever release like The Last Guardian, that's what it looks like.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe that's the way to do it. Like, get one really strong bond and make the player associate with them, as opposed to like forming a party in an RPG or something like that. Maybe you need to have just two people together to really create that strong emotion. It was good. I felt like they really, like they weren't, I didn't feel like they were really stressing gameplay and, the story, like, significantly. I always felt like they meshed well together. So I didn't lead one way or the other, but I never beat the game.
Did you develop a strong connection with Yorda, or whatever her name was?
Yeah, whatever her name is. Not really, because I felt like she just was a weakling, and she was kind of annoying at times, and so maybe it was just the gameplay actually interfered with my relationship with that character, so it wasn't quite there. Did you feel differently?
I did not play much of it. I played that last year, the Eco and Shadow of the Colossus collection, and I tripped up primarily on the puzzle solving. It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I just got stuck and said, well, I'm going to move on to something else. So I didn't really get to experience much of the connection between those two characters.
So I wrote this down too, and I didn't want to forget about it, but that kind of brings up the point of like game design and the emotion. I feel like BioShock is a good example of a game that sort of ties them together well. So as you play the game, like, you kill stuff and you save these little sisters, like, which is built into gameplay, you develop a strong emotional response sort of feeling, almost like they was that Atlas that made Ico? I'm sure that's what they wanted you to do with those characters, or maybe Sony. But yeah, like, I think that that style of gameplay where it's like it, I guess what I'm saying is it can be blended together in such a way that the gameplay itself actually makes you feel different feelings. Like, you don't have to have this superficial story outside of it, like you would in Gears of War. It can actually be done, and I think that's a good way to look at it.
To counterpoint your BioShock pick, the whole, I guess the emotional hooks really come from how you handled the little sisters, and I kind of felt like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there was the whole.
That's good.
Well, okay, so it was you can save them, or you can kill them, and then you get bonus powers. Was that the
harvest them?
Yeah, it's basically long-term benefits versus short-term benefits.
I don't know, I just kind of felt like because it was tied to it was such a binary thing, it wasn't really so much I'm doing this because this is how I feel in my heart. It's I've made this decision that because the numbers add up this way, I'm just going to do this one thing and do it throughout the entire game. Rather than in this particular scenario, I'm going to save this girl, and in this the next time I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And
Good
I think
point. Yeah, that's a
Mass
good point.
Effect stumbles a lot because of the dialogue system is tied to it's the good choice versus the bad choice. And here's the,
Right.
I guess, the one in between.
Yeah,
So
it's a good point.
I was just going to sort of ask more of a general question. You brought up Mass Effect, and it made me think about it. With Mass Effect, you have the choice of playing between a male or female Shepard. With other games, like specifically, The Walking Dead or Gears of War or any of the other games that we've sort of talked about with these emotional responses, all the main characters are predominantly male. Do you guys think that, our female gamers kind of get the shaft, or do they have the same sort of emotional experience controlling a male protagonist that males would have controlling a male protagonist?
And
That's a
Sorry. It's something I was thinking
totally
of.
not qualified to answer this question.
yeah.
I know we
Cannot
need
answer.
we need to get
As
a
an
female's
outside
perspective. I think.
observer of female gamers, I feel like I have seen a lot of girl gamers who have a very strong connection to Mass Effect because they get to play as female Shepard.
Exactly.
Mm.
Because I'm thinking of my experience with The Walking Dead. It was so amazing, but then thinking of a girl playing that, would they
To
have the same
counterpoint,
experience?
would you have had the same experience of playing The Walking Dead if Lee was a chick?
Yeah, well, exactly. And I don't know. I can't really... Like, if Lee was a girl and Clem was a guy, would I have the same
The
experience?
closest parallel I could think of to your question is Heavy Rain, where you play both a male and a female. And it did not impact my experience at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say for me it wouldn't. If the Walking Dead flip-flop was a reality, yeah, I think that would be the same. If the game played out the exact same way, yeah, I feel like it would be the same feelings.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a game where, it has strong emotional ties and you play as a girl. I really can't think of any off the top of my head.
Lollipop Chainsaw.
True, but Bayonetta's not a...
That
yeah.
game made you laugh. It made you cry. It may have turned you on
Heavenly
if
Sword.
that's your thing.
Yeah, we'll see.
Um,
I guess maybe like Metroid. There's some emotional ties there.
But that's actually interesting because you don't even really feel like, especially the original Metroid, you don't even find out that it's a girl until the end of the game. So.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure at some point when that game was new, someone played through the game, found out it was a girl, and actually got pissed off.
That game
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt
did
it.
make people feel certain ways. Like, I don't know, that whole feeling of being alone.
True. Survival horror-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Metroid Prime. That's a good example. Like that, like the feeling of solitude. If you guys played through it, like I really did feel like I was by myself in this planet, and the only thing I had was my gun, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good one. And I think being a man or a woman, it didn't make it feel any different. It was just, for me at least, just kind of scary.
In
being
general,
alone.
I would like to see more video games that star girls. Yeah?
I would too. I think it's weird.
likewise.
Totally
Absolutely.
down for it. And also, Metroid Prime was fantastic. One of my favorites.
Oh my gosh.
I never did beat it. I got really close. And at a certain point, I got lost.
It's good.
But I would love to play that game again.
Man, that game would probably translate really well to the Wii U. Think about it.
Yeah, just HD remake that just like Wind
just
Waker,
imagining it now.
and I will be in there.
Mm-hmm. I'd buy that.
Anything else you guys wanted to add on this particular subject? I like it when games make me feel stuff, and I would like them to make me feel more things.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be an interesting year for video games, especially with the two, like Beyond Two Souls and Last of Us and all the stuff that's coming out. It'd be interesting to see how they invoke
Presumably a
emotions.
new Walking Dead season? Yeah. And
Yes. It'll be interesting to see where they go with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it can be topped. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like you just want to see it not come back. Just go away.
Yeah.
Right.
Have it be its own thing, and that's it.
Live in infamy.
Yeah.
Start a brand all new series.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap things up. That was that was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was really cool talking about games super serious and stuff. I hope that you listening enjoyed that as well. And we would really love to hear what you guys have to think about the subject. Email us at bosscast@splitkick.com to get your say in, and we'll read your comments on the next episode. And before we go, let's go plug some things. Jason, what do you got going on?
Plug it up. Because of my vacation in the last few weeks, I'm a little behind on my normal schedule I wanted to do for the collecting videos, the Game Hunter videos. So I'm going to be working on episodes 2 and 3 this week.
Nice.
So you can look forward to those.
I really liked your first one.
Really? Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I know JJ was enjoying that, and you've got him collecting games now.
Yes, I am happy I've affected someone. So, yeah, I know I already have the script written and everything ready to go for episode 2, which is going to be about greatest hits versions and black labels and all that kind of jazz. And episode 3, what's that?
I don't like greatest hits versions.
Yeah,
I have a handful of them, and it
likewise.
Makes me bitter every time I buy one of those because it is the only option available.
Yeah, and you can actually get screwed more ways than one. If you look super technical, there could be things that you might not even notice when you're buying. But anyways, and then episode 3, I think, is going to be about pirated games and bootlegs. So we'll look at those. And then outside of that, my sub-blog, the Slick Anthology of my... I think my tagline is my game collection in blog form is still up and running, and tonight I will be finishing the DS section. So you can look at all, I think, 87 DS games. Look at it that way and enjoy.
I checked that out recently too. I really like it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been fun to work on, and I mean it's going to take forever to get done, but it's a nice way to spend a few hours here and there.
Yeah, so, check it out. Check it out. Maybe buy a thing or two from Jason's Amazon store.
Do it.
Matt, what do you got going on?
So for Bit Band Pop, I'm doing an article on, we're taking sort of a doom and gloom angle for Valentine's Day. So doomed video game couples. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure how that's going to turn out, but we'll see.
Mario and Peach are doomed. They will just be living the same cycle over and over again.
Mario just got friend-zoned. That was the whole...
He's going to get a kiss on the cheek, and they will share cake at the end of the game. At every game ever.
And then they'll go go-karting for a while.
Yeah, after they go golfing.
Yeah,
all that
and play basketball. And
right.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
After that whole thing with Pauline, and I think Daisy was
thrown in there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
There you go.
The ideas are forming in his head already.
Yeah, exactly. I was supposed to be going to a Castlevania media event for the new Castlevania game. I unfortunately cannot make that event.
Oh, no.
But it's because I got tickets to go see Led Zeppelin.
What?
So, well, not Led, but the Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin experience thing.
Okay.
So I'll be...
That's still awesome.
Yeah, so I'll be going to that instead. So it's one of Liza's favorite bands too. So, yeah. I'm missing out on one excellent thing, but getting to go to another excellent thing. So it kind of evens out.
A more excellent thing, in my opinion. I love the video games and stuff, but dude, it's Led Zeppelin.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Can't say no to
exactly.
that. As for me, I realized that I totally did not update this section of the outline. So, things coming out.
Spotlight's on you now. You gotta just roll with it. Roll with the punches.
I kind of... All my split kick stuff kind of hit in one shot, so there was one point, I guess a couple of weeks ago now, where the top 3 stories were my Street Fighter 4 guide, my Rocksmith piece, and then the last episode of the Bosscast. So, I'm a little dry at the moment, but I will be writing some stuff for Split Kick very soon, if not starting already. It's probably a review. I will just need Martin to confirm that this one in particular is happening, so I don't want to speak on it just yet, though the Now Playing is probably going to be up by this point.
Cool.
So, I will be writing some more stuff for Split Kick soon. I can say that much. As for my own site, inthirdperson.com, I've got a write-up on Zombie U going up soon. I will not be finishing that game, so I decided to write things up and explain why I will not be finishing that game. And some stuff on Bayonetta, some personal life stuff, and Skylanders Giants at some point in the near future.
Excellent.
Cool.
So that's that. If you want to reach out to us on Twitter, you can hit us up at Maddie Lang, at Jay Jasicki, and at Jett Landicho. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes and review us as well. And am I missing anything else?
You're good. Thanks again for all the viewers. It's great.
Listeners, keep listening.
Yes. You guys rock.
Absolutely.
Till next time. See ya. One last thing. Just going to smoothly patch this into the end of the show. Don't forget to check out splitkick.com for a whole bunch of awesome gaming content, such as Jim Hunter's interview of Jessica Lindell from Institute of Play, where they talk about SimCity EDU. Martin Perry has a post summarizing all of the things that went down at the THQ auction, and Ben also posted his vault play for New Super Mario Bros. 2. Don't forget to check out the Rocket Jump podcast, Broken Tamriel from Davey Hugs, Bits of Reality, Old Game Plus, and all of the other good stuff we have on splitkick.com. So, till next time, see you later.